Hi there, this is a CBS2 News Update. I'm Chris Wragge. Huge crowds turned out for a final goodbye to an innocent victim of gang violence. Pallbearers dressed in Yankee jerseys carried the casket of 15-year-old Lissandro Guzman Feliz past his mourning mother and into a Bronx church for his funeral. Police say gang members dragged the teen from a Belmont bodega last Wednesday and stabbed him in a case of mistaken identity. 8 people have been arrested. The Bergen County Prosecutor's Office is investigating the death of a man whose body was found Tuesday at New York Giants player Janoris Jenkins' Fairlawn home. The man has been identified as 25-year-old Roosevelt Rene. Investigators describe him as a family friend of Jenkins, who had been living at the house on Vanson Place. The Bergen County Medical Examiner will determine the cause of death. In a statement, the Giants said they were, quote, monitoring the situation. New video of a burning ambulance that sparked a series of car fires this morning on the Upper West Side. Happened early this morning on West 73rd Street between Columbus and Amsterdam Avenues. The ambulance was experiencing engine trouble moments before it caught fire.
I could just see an entire, this huge amount of space that was just flaming, feet up into the air. And, of course, by then all the fire trucks were coming. But that's what was happening. And it went on for about another hour, and I kept hearing these big explosions.
When they knock on my door, at 1:45 or 1:30 in the morning, I had a lot of concern that something might happen. But what can we do? It's life.
There was a lot of damage, but luckily no injuries were reported. It was a longer commute than expected for hundreds of New Jersey transit riders. Around 8:30 this morning, a train got stuck with no power in the South Tube near Penn Station. 900 people were on board. It took about 25 minutes to get that train out. A frustrating problem that some commuters say is a common problem.
I'm going to work late as usual because the trains are never running on time, it seems like, so it's starting to be a problem.
What was everybody's reaction?
Everyone's just annoyed, huffing and puffing, and just saying, everyone's like, come, is this going to happen every single day? It's getting old at this point.
The train is cleared now, but riders could see some residual delays. A federal judge has issued a ruling that could end family separations at the U.S. border. The California judge ordered that separated families must be reunited within 30 days, and if the children are younger than 5, they must be reunified within 2 weeks. The order came following a lawsuit by the American Civil Liberties Union involving 2 children separated from their parents. The judge also issued a nationwide injunction stopping future family separations unless the parent is deemed unfit. Now to campaign 2018 and a huge shocker in Tuesday's primary election. A longtime Democratic congressman representing parts of Queens and the Bronx lost his primary challenge. Representative Joe Crowley was defeated by 28-year-old newcomer Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in the 14th congressional district race. Crowley had been considered a candidate to become the next House Speaker if the Democrats won the majority in November. Ocasio-Cortez talked about what her victory could mean for Washington.
I think that it means that we need to be expanding what we are listening to in terms of advocacy for working class Americans, people of color, and more.
This is a massive upset. Congressman Crowley released a statement that reads in part, "It has been the honor of a lifetime to represent Queens and the Bronx. I want to congratulate Ms. Ocasio-Cortez on her victory. I look forward to supporting her and all Democrats this November." On the flip side, on the Republican side, incumbent Staten Island Congressman Dan Donovan won a fierce challenge from the man he replaced. Former Congressman Michael Grimm had hoped to make a comeback after pleading guilty to tax fraud in 2015, but he lost by an almost 2-to-1 margin. This was actually a blowout. Donovan will face the Democratic nominee, former Army combat veteran and healthcare executive Max Rose. Well, we're learning more about an incident on the tarmac at JFK Airport last night that delayed a JetBlue flight to Los Angeles.
JetBlue, that's on Bravo, short November, Charlie, JetBlue 1623. If you can hear us, flash your lights twice. 23 available. Can you call the tower?
Port Authority police surrounded and boarded JetBlue Flight 1623 with guns drawn, all because of a false alarm. The flight was set to take off around 8 o'clock last night when its radio system malfunctioned that triggered an alarm inside the control tower, which led authorities to believe that the plane may have been hijacked.
And people just started freaking out because we noticed the SWAT vans and everything, but nobody was coming on the intercom and saying anything. I thought I was going to die. And how they were pointing the guns, I hate guns. They were pointing them at us. Which was really scary, and our hands were up.
The radio system was restored, but the plane was called back to the gate for inspection. The passengers later boarded a second flight and took off for Los Angeles without incident. Well, the Rent Guidelines Board has approved increases for the city's 1 million rent-stabilized tenants. One-year leases will go up by 1.5%. Two-year leases will rise 2.5%. The increases will apply to new leases and renewals starting on the 1st of October. Central Park will now be a car-free zone. Last night, city officials hopped on their bikes and rode behind the last car driving through the park. The vehicular traffic is now banned on all roads south of 72nd Street in the park. Cars were already banned north of 72nd, but the changes will not impact the transverse roads at 97th, 86th, 79th, and 65th Streets connecting the east and west side of Manhattan. It's a beautiful day to get on your bike or to get out into the park or just walk anywhere for that matter. Let's get over to John with your forecast. Johnny?
You know, it's still a nice afternoon in the city, but we are dealing with some showers off to the west. You can see clouds and 70. That's the 11 o'clock observation. Numbers around the area, yeah, we're hanging on to the 60s and 70s because of the clouds. And we are going to be dealing with numbers that are in the 70s today. But over the next few days, get ready. You're going to see those numbers start to climb. And in fact, we are dealing with the potential for heat waves starting Friday. In fact, Friday, we've got a number right around 90, not too humid yet. But then you see 94 on Saturday, peak heat likely Sunday. That's when we're still going to be dealing with the heat and humidity. Planning purposes, after midnight, more widespread thunderstorm activity into your Thursday. Chris?
All right, Johnny, thanks. A wildlife warning in Rockland County. Rattlesnakes are showing up in places too close for comfort. CBS 2's Clark Foraker reports.
Police in Ramapo, New York say they're getting more calls than usual about rattlesnakes being too close to residents' homes.
One was found by a poolside, and the other one was actually found on the front steps of a house.
One rattlesnake was recovered in Sloatsburg, New York, the other in Montebello.
People with bird feeders in the summertime, the bird feeders, the seed actually attracts, squirrels, chipmunks, mice, and sometimes rats, and, they're all food for the rattlesnake.
Copperheads and water moccasins are native to New York along with the rattlesnake, the only one of those three protected under state law. Homeowners can't kill them, and only handlers licensed with the New York Department of Environmental Conservation can relocate them.
I'll bring a rattlesnake tongs, which is basically used to pick up the snake so I don't have to free handle it. I'll also bring a snake bag.
Signs here in Harriman State Park have warned walkers about the timber rattlesnake, the same kind that police in Ramapo have had to remove at least twice this year.
We had lakes up around here, and there's rattlesnakes up by the lakes. There's rattlesnakes that go into people's yards. We just don't disturb them. They go away, or we call the police and have them come with the animal protection, and they take it away because they're endangered species up here.
Police say they isolate the snake until a licensed handler arrives. Once captured, the snakes are taken to a more densely wooded area away from the home and rarely return.
It's justified. Small children, dogs don't know how to react when they see a snake, and there is an immediate danger.
Police in Ramapo say they've had more calls about snake sightings since posting their photos to Facebook. In Montebello, New York, Clark Foraker, CBS 2 News.
Well, Pizza Rat has some competition. A squirrel is in trouble with the law in Alaska. Anchorage police released this video of the crime scene, their parking lot. Now look closely and you will see that suspect, a squirrel, running off with an officer's donut. If you've got any information about this donut-loving squirrel, call the Anchorage Police Department as soon as possible. An APB has already been issued. That's your CBS 2 News Update. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Chris Wragge. Enjoy your day.